Chapter 6 The Miss Monthrops Suggest a Walk. Mary and Charles still could not agree about which of the Miss Monthrops Captain Warford liked best. Annie was often together with Captain Warford, the Miss Monthrops, and Charles Hayter. She believed that Captain Warford was not in love with Louisa or Henrietta. Charles Hayter was clearly upset that Henrietta seemed so interested in Captain Warford, but Anne did not believe that Captain Warford was behaving badly. She did not think he knew that he had upset Hayter. He probably did not even know that Charles Hayter and Henrietta had been so close. He was only wronged, she thought, to let two young women become so interested in him at the same time. After a little while, Charles Hayter stopped coming to Uppercross. He had tried to interest in Henrietta again, but he had given up, and thought he was very sensible to stay away. A few days after, Charles stopped visiting Uppercross. The Miss Monroes came to see Annie and Mary one morning. It was a lovely November day, and Charles Monthrope and Captain Warford had gone shooting. "We are going for a very long walk," Henrietta told Annie and Mary, "and so we already know that you would not like to come, Mary." "Oh, yes, I would," Mary replied quietly. "I would like to come very much. I love long walks." The Miss Monthropes looked at each other, and Anne could see at once that this was not what they wanted. She tried to persuade Mary to stay at home, but Mary would not listen to her. Anne thought that she had better go as well. Then, if it was necessary, she could turn back early with her sister. The Miss Monthropes, Mary, and Anne were just leaving when Charles and Captain Warford arrived. They had come back from shooting early, so they were ready for a good walk and were pleased to come with the ladies. It was too late for Annie to say that she wanted to stay at home, so all six of them went together. Anne stayed close to her sisters and brother-in-law. As they walked, she tried to keep her mind busy, but she could not stop herself from listening whenever she heard Captain Warford talking to the Miss Monroes. Everyone was following to Miss Monroes on this walk, and they seemed to know where they were going. After a while, the group came to the top of a big hill, and from there they could see Winthrop, the Hayters' home below. "Oh my, here is Winthrop," said Meg. "Well, I think we should turn back now. I am very tired." Henrietta, who was suddenly nervous about seeing Charles Hayter, was ready to go back too, but Louisa cried, "No, no." She took her sister away from the others and knelt to her in a strong voice. After a while, the group decided that Henrietta and her brother Charles would run down the hill to Winthrop to see her aunt and cousins for a few minutes. The rest of the group would wait at the top. Anne was tired, and she was pleased to find a very sunny place to sit. Mary, not happy with the seat she had found, went to look for a better one. Louisa and Captain Westmont went looking for nuts on the edge. But after a while, Anne heard Louisa and Captain Warford coming towards her. Anne was hiding from them, and she could hear Louisa talking. "So I had Henrietta go," Louisa was telling Captain Warford. "She told me just this morning that she wanted to go to Winthrop. But you know that Mary does not think Charles Hayter is good enough for our family, and just because of Mary's silly idea, Henrietta nearly didn't go just now. I had to make her go." "Well, Henrietta is lucky that she has a sister like you," replied Captain Warford. "I understand now that the visit to Winthrop this morning is important for her, and she should not let anyone stop her from doing things. Your sister is a lovely girl, but I can see that you have the strongest mind. If someone is not strong enough and cannot make decisions, then you can never be sure about them. Anyone may make them change their minds about things. My first hope for anyone that I care about is that they should be strong. If Louisa Moss wants to be beautiful and happy in the autumn of her life, she will always keep her mind strong. There was silence for a moment. What could Louisa say? Captain Warford had spoken so strongly and so warmly, Anne was sure she knew how Louisa was feeling at that moment. Anne stayed very still and hoped that they would not see her. Before they moved on, Louisa spoke once more. Mary is agreeable in many ways, she said, but I do not get anyone sometimes by her vanity. She thinks she is so important. We were sorry that Charles did not marry Anne. I am sure you must note that he wanted to marry Anne. Captain Warford said nothing for a moment. Then she said, "Do you mean that she refused him?" "Oh, yes," replied Louisa. "When was this?" Captain Warford asked. "About a year before Charles married Mary, I think. We were so sorry that Annie said no. We like her so much more than Mary," said Louisa simply. Louisa and Captain Warford had moved away, and Anne could not hear the words anymore. But she was full of so many mixed feelings that she could not move. Captain Warford had talked about people who were not strong enough. She knew that, in his eyes, she was one of these people, but she had also heard feelings and interest in his voice when he asked about her. She was finding it difficult to stay calm. She was glad when everyone was together and they were ready to go. Charles and Henrietta had come back from Windsor with Charles' Hayter, and everyone could see that Henrietta and Charles were happy to be together again. They talked only to each other all the way back to Uppercross. So now it was clearly Louisa for Captain Warford. As the group went back, Louisa and Captain Warford were together almost as much as Henrietta and Charles Hayter, and Walter a little way behind with Charles and Mary. As the group arrived at the road, they heard a carriage coming and saw that it was Admiral Croft and his wife. When they heard that the young people had walked so far, the Crofts kindly asked if anyone wanted to ride with them back to Uppercross. Everyone refused, but as Captain Warford crossed the road, he spoke to his sister, Mrs. Croft, and she at once called out to Anne. "Miss Elliot, I am sure you are tired. Please, let us take you home." Anne started to refuse, but the Crofts would not listen, and without saying a word, Captain Warford helped her into the carriage. Yes, he had done it. She was in the carriage, and he had put her there. He had seen that she was tired, and he had wanted her to rest. And now thought that she could see how Captain Warford felt about her. She understood him. He had not forgiven her, but he could still be kind. He was not interested in her anymore and was now becoming very close to another woman. But he still liked to help her and felt friendship for her. She could see that he still had a kind, warm heart. She was pleased about that, but she found it painful too, and she could not decide which feeling was stronger.